What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. I cover political news, and folks, here we go. We got another tick in the box of another reason why I call Democrats insane. These people hate democracy. They hate their constituents. They don't like America, and I don't know why people still believe in the Democrat Party. They just don't care. They are authoritarians. They want to rule with a freaking iron fist. And here we go. Some more evidence to prove my point, to ram that sucker home, to let people know that they don't like you. They don't like you whatsoever, Democrat voters. They don't like Republicans either. As a matter of fact, they despise Republicans. They despise independents too, but they most certainly have no problems whatsoever pandering to independents, pandering to their base, pandering to everybody that they can. As long as they will help to keep them in power, they will pander to you. They will do anything and everything they can. They will lie, cheat, steal, attempt to assassinate, anything to keep themselves in power and to keep you under their damn thumb. And they are just blatant with it, folks. Just outright blatant. And what am I ranting on about? Check this out. Schumer eyes locking in one-party rule if Dems win, will nuke the filibuster. So, yes, they're trying to get rid of the filibuster. They've been trying to do this ever since Republicans started getting back the House. They don't like it because it holds up their democracy. It puts a stop on their democracy when they have power. And what do I mean by what is a filibuster? It basically will delay debate on any legislation and pretty much put it off to the side so the bill can't be passed, right? So we don't get tyranny by the majority. So they can't just ram through anything they want to when they have the majority. It's a tool. It's a democratic tool to use for democracy, folks. This is what I'm always talking about. The Democrats don't like democracy, and they don't use the Webster's definition of democracy when they start talking about threats to democracy. No, that's not what they're talking about at all. They're talking about them being in power. Why? Because, like I said, they're trying to get rid of the filibuster. We've been knowing this. They call it the nuclear option because it will destroy democracy outright. Just boom. Just destroy it. Because anytime the minority, like if there's some legislation that's going to go through and the minority, like it's just abhorrent to these people. They, no, we can't have this. This is BS. They can filibuster it. They do this with all kinds of stuff. They do it with not just legislation. They do it with judicial nominees, as a matter of fact. They do it with everything in the Senate. And it's a good tool, right? They don't always use it. Of course, legislation still gets passed, but if you got some insanity coming up and you have the Democrats are in the majority, right? They can filibuster them pushing through some BS. Let's get into the story. Now, I will admit right off, this is a right-leaning publication, so take that with a grain of salt. You know, there's going to be some pejoratives, blah, 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 whatever in here. So the facts are correct, though, because I cross-referenced this with the Associated Press. And the Associated Press article was pathetic, is about all I can say about the Associated Press article. It left out all kinds of information, right? So let's get into it. In some ways, Democrats are actually right when they claim that democracy is at stake in this year's election because they are the ones who intend to end it. Like I said, y'all, just take it from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who is prepared to unleash the nuclear option by destroying the filibuster, the sole remaining bulwark standing in the way of permanent one-party Democrat rule. That is right, folks. Now, that's a little bit hyperbolic. I will say that. That is hyperbolic. However, it is a tool in the arsenal for the minority to hold up legislation that we don't want to get passed through. Now, there are ways around the filibuster. Of course, there are ways to beat it. But it takes paperwork. It takes work, folks. And Democrats don't like to work. They just want to ram through anything and everything that they can. It's insane. Oozing with confidence that his party can win big in the election now that Kamala Harris has been installed as the nominee. I love how they put that because that is the truth, y'all. The scheming Schumer tipped his hand on what Democrats intend to do once their Senate majority has been fortified. Here is a tweet, folks, from Senator Mike Lee. Let's see what the hell he has to say. Chuck Schumer, remove the mask. Democrats' victory in 2024 equals no more filibuster. Yeah, they're insane. They've been wanting to nuke the filibuster for a while, and now they're just outright openly stating it to the press. It's insane. No more filibuster equals permanently progressive federal government plus indefinite rule by Democrats. You can't put this genie back in the bottle. This is a point of no return. Yes. And what's insane to me, right, is the Democrats use the filibuster all the time to stop Republicans from passing legislation, right? They're insane. This is why I call them insane, why I call them psychopathic, for crying out loud, because they use the filibuster. It's a tool of democracy to keep the majority from being tyrannical. Like I said, keep them from passing legislation that nobody wants except for them, right? So they use it all the time. That's why it makes no sense for them to nuke the filibuster. So next time that we get majority Republicans in the House, the Senate, and in the presidency, they're going to be crying foul. I can guarantee you that. They'll be screaming and crying, throwing a tantrum to the high heavens. I know that was two quotes mixed together, but I really don't care today. I am on a roll right now. If that even makes any sense to you guys. Let's keep going, though. We got it up to 48, but of course, Sinema and Manchin voted no. That's because they're not insane. That's why we couldn't change the rules. Well, they're both gone, he told reporters at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on Tuesday, according to NBC News. Ruben Gallego is for it, and we have 51, so even losing Manchin, we still have 50. Schumer was referring to Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who are both expected to lose their seats with the volatile Gallego winning in Arizona. The two senators were the fly in the ointment, both resisting their party's push to end the 60-vote filibuster rule that would unleash a wave of tyranny by the majority. Yeah, let's be a little bit more hyperbolic there, if we will. But yeah, the filibuster, basically, to override the filibuster, you had to get at least 60 votes. Now, we know the makeup of the Senate, generally speaking, is generally split. Right? You might have 48, blah, 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 52, but it'll generally be around that number, right? You never really get 60 senators from one party, but that's what you would need. So you would basically have to get a bipartisan effort to pass any legislation that has been filibustered. But, you know, this doesn't mean it's going to pass the House, and it doesn't mean it's going to be passed by the president, you know, signed into law by the president or whatever. It just means that it's going to go through the Senate. Now, once again, like I said, to get around the filibuster, it's just the framers. I just love how the framers set this up. This is such a great idea because, once again, it prevents tyranny by the majority. Now, if you get a bipartisan effort, you get at least 60 senators to agree. Then you can get around the filibuster, you can nuke the filibuster, get it out the way, and pass your legislation. That's what it's for, though, is when you have a split and you have these people in the majority that just want to pass anything and everything that they can with no bipartisan effort there. Yeah, you can't do that. We have a tool to stop you from doing that. The framers were smart when they made the Constitution and they designed the blueprints for our government. The way it's set up just works so great, right? Like, I know some people might be like, works great, huh? Y'all saw that fly just now. Yeah, I have a fly out here. Sorry, y'all. But yes, it does. As a matter of fact, it works great. For the most part, we get checks and balances. They keep each other in check, and they keep each other balanced, right? When you get people like Chuck Schumer wanting to come in and nuke the filibuster, right? That is a destruction of democracy. That is one tool out of the arsenal for democracy. Like I said, this is a tool that will come back to bite them in the butt if they nuke it, if they get rid of it. They will definitely one day. Mike Lee was being hyperbolic with that tweet. Right, this just means indefinite Democrat Party rule. No, it doesn't. Doesn't mean that at all. But what it does mean is they're taking a tool out of the box. That means whoever's in power can just ram through anything they want to as long as they have the majority. No more actual majority. No more 60% to get through it. They just need 51%. That's all they need. It's just crazy to me that the Democrats are constantly, oh, democracy this and democracy that. But they hate democracy, y'all. Just look what they did in 2020. That's what proved it to me. When they are willing to give up trying to win the argument. When they just give up on their campaign and instead hire a bunch of people to go around and harass Democrat voters to vote by mail. And then go to nursing homes and harass people in these nursing homes to vote for their candidate. When they're just more worried about getting a piece of paper with their candidate's name on it than they are about actually winning an election the proper way. When they're so worried about loosening the rules, loosening the restrictions around voting. And they call it voter suppression. Oh, you're trying to suppress votes. No, we just want a secure election because, once again, Democrats are allowing all these people to come in. And they don't audit these elections, generally speaking, right? Like, sure, you get recounts and all this stuff, but that's only when it's really close, right? So the Democrats are like, well, we just got to get a butt ton of votes in here so it's not even close, so they don't do a recount, so they don't go through and actually do signature verification, which, by the way, is voter suppression, right? Having an ID is voter suppression, according to them, but they know that logically doesn't make any sense. They can say it. Sounds okay at first. Oh, it's voter suppression. But when you think about it, you got all these people in this country who are here illegally. Yeah, I think we need some more security than just let anybody vote. And then they've got a program where they're actually registering these people to vote because it's legal in certain places for local elections. So these people get registered to vote. I've posited before, do you think that these people, these criminal aliens who are registered to vote, are not going to break the law by voting in the federal election? And who's going to check it, right? These people already came into the country illegally. They broke the law to get here, so why would they not break the law to vote in a federal election? You are out of your mind if you think that nobody is doing this. It is insane to think that. You are crazy. That is like thinking just because murder is illegal that nobody's going to do it ever. I'm sorry. Just because there's a speed limit doesn't mean people aren't going to break that speed limit. Just because there's a sign over here that says stop doesn't mean that everybody's going to stop. Right? So we need balance. We need integrity. We need security around our elections. We don't need just anybody and everybody voting because we don't know who they are. We don't know if they're voting twice. We don't know if they're voting 3 times. We don't even know if they're eligible to vote, right? Because certain felons can't vote in elections. There's a debate on there. There's a debate for that. If you want some of these felons to actually vote, we can have that debate. We can work all that out. But they're not supposed to. That is codified in law right now. They just it blows my mind that they are just being so blatant with their hypocrisy about democracy. Once again, like I said, I know sometimes I'm being a little bit hyperbolic when I say they don't mean the Webster's definition of democracy. But, from all outside appearances, that's exactly what it means. That's not hyperbolic at all, because they don't seem to care about democracy at all. The first 2 items on Schumer's agenda if the filibuster falls are voting rights and making abortion the law of the land. According to NBC News, at a separate Politico event last Monday, the New York City Democrat said that the bills are set to be crammed through over a Republican minority that will soon be stripped of any power. Will be the controversial Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, which he describes as very, very important, while predicting there will be consensus in my caucus to try and do that. On Tuesday, the majority leader also said that Democrats will also discuss potential rule changes to codify abortion rights in federal law, a party priority after Roe v. Wade was overturned, which similarly faces Republican opposition and lacks a path to 60 Senate votes, the outlet reported. I have to discuss this with my caucus, he said. This is one of the issues we would have to debate and discuss and evolve. We want to protect choice. We have to see how we can do that, Schumer added. The top Senate Democrat has also led the party's war on the Supreme Court, a co-equal branch of government, and with the filibuster gone, the party can proceed with efforts to toss conservative justices off the bench on bogus ethics violation charges and pack the court with rabid left-wing ideologues. Man, I really don't like reading these right-wing, these really biased stories out like this, but, sometimes the corporate press just doesn't get the facts. They just don't get the facts at all, right? Like, the corporate press didn't mention anything about abortion, what he was talking about abortion. We know that's always on the table for these people. And, like I said, the AP article, they went on some rambling nonsense about Kirsten Sinema betraying the Democrat Party. It's like, what the hell? There was an entire paragraph of nothing but about Kirsten Sinema. Like, who cares about that? They're gone. Never in the nation's history has a major political party so flagrantly trashed long-standing norms and principles that have been the foundation of the republic. Despite their differences, there was once a shared sense of loyalty to the system itself between Democrats and Republicans. This is no longer the case. That is true. These people don't care about judicial norms. They don't care about legislative norms. They don't care about anything anymore. They're willing to throw their principles away to go after and get the orange man. That's what all this is about, because that's when their derangement started, back in 2016. Right? Looking back in history, yeah, they might have been trying to push their issues a little hard, blah, 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 whatever, But their derangement started in 2016. These people, the root to all the problems is Donald Trump when it comes to these people. This, once again, their derangement, I generally explain it by when you're talking with somebody, like you could go up to any of these Democrats, start talking about any problem whatsoever, and somehow within, 20, 30 seconds of their explanation, they'll get around to somehow blaming Trump for whatever your ailment is, right? They blame Trump for freaking everything. And it's just outright insane. They have smeared this man into oblivion. And, my eyes were open to this once all these damn prosecutions came out against Trump. I saw that and I'm like, God dang, I actually backed Trump. And when after January 6th and all that, after these prosecutions started to fall into place, I was like, holy crap. I felt genuinely bad for backing Donald Trump. I ain't gonna lie. I know I tell this story a lot, but as soon as I started looking into this, as soon as I started looking into those prosecutions, I realized I had to go talk to a lawyer friend of mine, and I asked him some questions. Hey, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, no, this is crazy, right? Like, I took Trump out of the equation and I replaced it with just somebody else. And what he was telling me, that they really don't have any standing on any of these. Once I told him to look into it, because he's not a very political guy. And I had my questions, and he was wondering where those questions came from. He went and looked into it. He said, this is all BS. Now he's advocating for Trump now. And that's when I came in back behind Trump. And I'm like, no, this is BS. These people are going after this dude, and they're trying to destroy his life. Because why? He is trying to destroy their democracy. He is trying to destroy the establishment. This is an antibiotic reaction, if you will, to the establishment, right? Because Trump is the virus that will kill the establishment. I think. He's not a save-all, right? We're going to need people in Congress. We're going to need good senators. But he is the start to destroying the establishment, which needs to be destroyed because there's so much corruption in the federal government, in the legislative government, in the U.S. government in general. There's just so much corruption And getting rid of the filibuster will only give us more corruption, because it doesn't matter what the Democrat voters think, right? Democrats brainwash their voters into thinking whatever. They've brainwashed these people, and the corporate press is right behind them. Don't let them lie to you. The corporate press is right there to propagate their BS. That's what they do. They have brainwashed their voters into killing their kids, transitioning and sterilizing their own kids. It's just insanity going on with these people. They've brainwashed them into thinking that we need to help the entire world while we have crumbling infrastructure all over our country, right? We've got veterans homeless on the freaking streets. Combat veterans, for crying out loud, homeless on the freaking streets because the federal government doesn't help these people. Blows my mind. But yet they'll give criminal aliens thousands of dollars a month, give them hotel rooms, give them jobs, give them your jobs. It's insane. But I've gotten way off topic, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Do y'all think it's a good idea to end the filibuster and throw democracy away? Right, like they're slowly chipping away at democracy, y'all. And we've got to do something. We've got to stand up and fight to preserve our republic. We have got to fight for it. Otherwise, we're going to lose it, y'all. And I don't think we want to do that. I don't think we want to live under an authoritarian dictatorship dictated by the Democrats. They'll push their BS agenda on everybody. It'll be crazy, y'all. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. Y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.